State lawmakers in Sacramento recently approved legislation designed to combat the disturbing rise in teenage suicides in California.
Yeah, Stanford professor Shashank Joshi played a pivotal role in creating this suicide prevention bill, and he joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us, Professor.
Thank you.
So tell me what this bill does.
Well, this was a collaboration of a number of people throughout the state who came together after we have experienced this rise in suicides among our young people over the past 8 to 10 years. And what Assembly Bill 2246 asks all public districts in the 58 counties that serve students in grades 7 through 12 is that they adopt model suicide prevention policies, which can be found on the California Department of Ed website. And these policies allow school districts and schools to then put into place educational programs that allow for kids to learn about stress and distress and how to cope with it, how to deal with it before it becomes serious. Importantly, how to identify signs of depression in themselves or a friend, and how to get help for a friend. We see often that stigma runs high. It doesn't discriminate. Really, people from all walks of life will struggle with a mental health problem from time to time. It's part of an everyday life. So what the districts are trying to do is really try to use teaching about mental health as part of overall health, so kids can be healthy enough to learn and participate in the class curriculum.
Doctor, tell us where we're at in identifying teens who might have the symptoms of potentially being suicidal. We've been hearing about this for years now. Ever since there's been social media, we've been hearing about cyberbullying, we've been hearing about shaming online and those kinds of things. This isn't anything new, so where are we at in all of this in turning that around? This new program sounds great, but what's different about it that makes it different?
Well, there are a number of wonderful programs now that are out there, and I'll just mention a couple. First of all, if you're looking for an ideal program, and if you just do a search for NREP, which is the National Registry of Evidence-Based Programs and Practices, that's done through the national organization SAMHSA, you'll find programs that have been measured, that have been shown to work. A couple of those that we've had experience have been things like Kognito. That's Kognito with a K, Kognito. That's a program that features role-play simulations. And that's an important element when you're teaching adult learners, like teachers, in order to give them more skills and confidence in talking to students about their concerns. There's another one put out by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention called Signs Matter. And that can be found on their website as well. Districts can find out more information. The nice part about that program is it features information for students who may be struggling in grades as early as kindergarten or first grade all the way through high school. And then there's another program we like from Children's Hospital Boston called Break Free from Depression, which is a 4-session curriculum that you can actually get trained online for and become a trainer and then distribute this program in your district. And all of these programs have in common a kind of interactional component. So that's something we would advise schools to look for rather than just getting onto a web page and being talked at. Look for something where there's an interactive component, such as those offered by either Kognito, the Break Free from Depression group, or the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention.
Yeah, Professor, I mean, when you take a look at the statistics, they are indeed troubling. Almost 20% of high school students had seriously contemplated suicide. And then the stats go on to say that nearly 2,300 Californians ages 15 to 19 actually attempted suicide in 2014. So it sounds like really the goal here is to get kids talking, communicating, letting people know how they're feeling.
Yeah. One of the most important things I think you see from these programs is that you change the culture among teenagers, among youth. You change the code of silence. So teens no longer feel ashamed to talk about when they're going through a stressful time. You're changing the narrative, so to speak, from if I tell an adult, a trusted adult, that my friend's in trouble, I'm not getting them in trouble, I'm getting them out of trouble. There's a wonderful website I want to highlight, Gun High School here in Palo Alto. They do a monthly column called Changing the Narrative. If you do a search for that, Changing the Narrative, Oracle, which is the newspaper, you'll find a column there that will have contributions from students and staff alike, talking about, struggles they may have had and how they got better. Not only putting the struggle out there, but sharing the narrative about how they got better.
All right, Dr. Doshi, it's a very complicated subject, and it's something that parents, teachers, and students all need to continue to talk about until we can bring these suicide rates down. Thanks for taking time to talk to us. We appreciate it. If you'd like to find out more about suicide prevention in schools, Dr. Joshi has compiled that list of helpful websites. He mentioned some of them. We'll post a link on our website, KTVU.com. Just go to our homepage and look for web links at the top of the page.